Hey guys, I'm Chef D and welcome to Good Food Hood Dude. I'm gonna bring you some dope ass dishes. All right, on today's episode, as I explained earlier, I'm gonna be bringing you a rendition of a dish that's really near and dear to my heart. This was actually one of the dishes I first did when I was about 13 years old. So just a rendition of it is Ricotta Infused Meatballs with a Kale Linguine and an olive oil sauce with a little bit of lemon juice. For this dish, I'm gonna be using ground turkey and ground pork for the meatballs. We wanna do things healthier, right? So this is part-skim milk ricotta cheese, and this is actually half the fat of whole milk. We're gonna be doing some minced onions, minced garlic, some Parmesan cheese, basil, and parsley. You know, for me, I love smoked paprika. It gives it a nice spice to it. So, and obviously a little salt and pepper. So we're gonna be doing pasta, so why not go ahead and get our pasta water started. The key to having good pasta water is you wanna add a lot of salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in about 3/4 of a cup to this pasta water, and it'll come to a full boil, and it'll be ready for our pasta. All right guys, let's go ahead and start prepping our meatballs. So again, we're gonna go ahead and add our ground turkey, ground pork, incorporate the two meats. And both of these, the ground pork and ground turkey, are very lean. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add in our minced garlic, maybe a tablespoon of minced garlic, about a cup of minced onions, 1 cup of the part-skim milk ricotta cheese. Go ahead and add that in. We're gonna add about a 1/2 cup of the grated parm. Save some of this later for your garnish. Chiffonade basil and parsley, about 1/4 cup of both. And then finally, we're gonna add in our spices. So I'd say about a teaspoon of black pepper. I'd say about a tablespoon of kosher salt. And then smoked paprika, you can do it to taste. So I'd say about maybe a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons. Last thing we're gonna add in is our egg. Okay, now we're just folding everything in and making sure it's evenly incorporated. Yeah, just take your hand, get in there to just kind of fold everything in. And you can already smell all the flavors kind of coming together. You got your egg in there. Your egg acts as a binder. You know, some people use other things to kind of act as a binder. A binder is something that's gonna hold it together while it's actually cooking. So for this, we don't need anything like that. We use 1 egg, and the cheese also will act as a binder in this case. We have our oven already preheated, set to 425. So this is what it should look like when it's evenly incorporated. You see all the ingredients. You can, you know, see the herbs evenly spread out. Your cheese, you can't really see that anymore. Again, it's infused in the meatballs. So now we're gonna go ahead and start forming these guys. So what I have here is just a 1/2 sheet pan and some parchment paper. We're gonna spray our parchment paper. This is a extra virgin olive oil pan coating spray. So we'll go ahead and spray it real evenly. We don't want our meatballs sticking. So also here, guys, I have a bowl of warm water. This is to help as we're forming our meatballs. I'll dip my hands in the water and then take some of the meat. It'll help you roll out the meatballs in an even fashion and a much quicker pace. Just every 3 or 4 meatballs, dip your hands in the water. This should give you about maybe 20 meatballs in total. All right, guys, so we got about 25 meatballs. We're gonna go ahead and pop these in our oven, 425. I have this on a convection setting. If you don't have a convection setting on your oven, that's fine. They'll still cook evenly. You just wanna make sure you get them golden brown, about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer, 15 minutes, and then we'll move on. Our pasta water is ready, it's boiling. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my pasta. Some dry linguine here, good quality dry linguine. You can also, if you have somewhere where you can get fresh linguine, that's even better. Fresh pasta cooks probably 2 minutes. This will take about 9 minutes from start to finish. Just kind of spread it out. As it starts to come back up to boil, it will sink into your water. The key with cooking pasta is to be constantly moving it around. Just kind of take some tongs or any kind of utensil you have and just make sure you're moving it. So I like to make sure to wait until all the pasta kind of falls into the pot. And then from there, I'll just keep moving it. Our pastas all kind of fall into the water. Just keep moving it. Keep moving it around. You don't want it to stick. and this will come back up to a boil. And again, once it does, about 9 minutes from there, we're good to go. In the meantime, right here we have some green kale. With this dish, you want to make sure you have something like a kale or even a mustard green or a spinach that cooks really quickly, and it also complements the flavor of the pasta. So we have some shaved garlic. I just want to show you guys how to shave some garlic. Basically, you're going to take a very sharp knife and then use our index finger as a guide to just kind of go down and really cut very thin slices on your garlic. Yeah, just make sure they're very thin because you just want them almost like paper thin. So that way, when you saute up your kale, they can brown up really nicely. All right, guys, so before we move on to the next step, let's just go ahead and make sure we finish up our pasta. Again, checking it, stirring it. My way of checking it, I just pull some out. What we're looking for is al dente. And what al dente means is to the tooth. It still has a little bit of bite. Obviously, it's not raw, it's cooked, but it has a little bite. So that way, when you're finishing it in the end stage, you know, you can still have some flexibility with it. It's not overcooked. So let's taste this. All right, guys, so this is just about ready. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and start heating up my burner for my Kale Linguine pot, my saute pot here. Grab like an oven mitt or something to, you know, like a hot glove. And then I have a colander here. I'm just go ahead and strain that into my colander. Nothing's sticking to the bottom of the pot, so that's good. And you'll notice also too, when we go ahead and lift our pasta up, nothing's really sticking together. None of your noodles are sticking together. So go ahead and run it under some cool water. Just kind of toss it around a little bit. And that's good. Let that excess water drain off. Put it in a bowl and set it to the side to be sauteed with our kale. So that's good. Again, at this point, I just hit it with a little bit of olive oil, you know, and this is just about like maybe a half a tablespoon of olive oil. But, you know, as the air hits it and as it cools down, it tends to stick together. So the olive oil will prevent that. All right, guys, so here's our meatballs. We got a nice golden brown color on them. You know, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be dope. So now we're just gonna go ahead and cut a wedge of lemon off. And so, you know, we'll finish the dish as we're finishing the saute with some lemon juice, which will bring out all the flavors of every ingredient that's in the meatballs and in this Kale Linguine. So cut it down the middle and then kind of quarter it. And so, okay, we're ready to start cooking. Our pan is hot. We're gonna just go ahead and add in some olive oil. A little more than a tablespoon of olive oil. That pan's nice and hot, your olive oil is moving around. So to start, we're gonna add in our kale. And I'll tell you why we do that first, is because if we add in our garlic, it'll get a little too brown. We wanna make sure obviously we don't burn the garlic. So just go ahead and start with your kale. And then actually, at this point, you can add in your garlic. And let those kind of cook together. So at this point, guys, we want to just, you know, use that hot pan to saute our veggies. And then now we can actually add in our spices. So a little bit of salt, not too much, right? Because our pasta has salt. A little bit of pepper. And this crushed red pepper flake, just about a pinch. We didn't cool our pasta down completely. We kept it at room temp, so that way when we're bringing it back up, it doesn't take as long to come back up to temp. So at this point, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and add in about maybe a cup of linguine. And just evenly incorporate that. So again, you got your shaved garlic, you got your salt, your pepper, your green kale, some crushed red pepper flakes, and your cooked linguine. All right, so now we're gonna add in about 5 meatballs to your dish. And you can see this is all kind of coming together, right? We have it well seasoned. Our kale is nice and wilted. So we can go ahead and finish this dish by adding our lemon juice. Again, just about 1/4 of a lemon, just kind of squeeze it in there. and that'll brighten up all the flavors that we already have in there. Go ahead and turn off your heat. So I'm gonna bring it over here. So I like to just kind of twist the pasta, and then you want to plate the pasta first. Anytime you're plating a pasta dish, just kind of build up your pasta. And then we'll start adding, our meatballs to the dish. Guys, this is a nice light dish, not too heavy. It has some good healthy fats in there. Has some green kale, which is always good for you. And then we'll go ahead and kind of start adding our kale to it. We got some spice to it with the red pepper flake. And that's good, guys. Just to finish it, we're going to add a little bit of our grated parm that we used earlier. And that's it, guys. All right, guys, so that was another episode of Good Food Hood Dude, where we bring you some dope ass dishes. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you think about the dish, and we'll see you soon.